Hello everybody, this is Sharon, and I'm going to do a tutorial today using some of my Copic markers. We're going to be doing this little tilde with magnolia branch, so that's the one I'm going to do. The ink that I use to stamp my images with is this Memento Tuxedo Black. Sorry for the glare. And the paper that I use is the Georgia Pacific cardstock. It's the 110 pound paper, and I just purchased that at Walmart. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. So like I said before, I can't see what I'm doing, so I'm going to try to do my best to make sure I'm in frame. And so if you guys have any questions during this little process, you can just leave them in the comments below. So we'll go ahead and get started. And I probably, won't be talking a whole lot in this because I'm trying to kind of concentrate on what I'm doing. And I haven't, I'm not an expert or anything like that. Matter of fact, I've never even been to a class. But I just had some people asking some questions, so I was just going to try to, do a little tutorial here. And so we'll go ahead and get started. The colors that I'm going to start with are the violet colors. It's V000, and let me see if I'm in frame with that. It's this one right here. It's called V000, and it's called Pale Heath. And then the other one is V01, and it's just called Heath. So that's the two colors that we're going to be starting with. And I don't really have a certain way I do this. I just start and then just, kind of go from there. So we'll start with the V01 and Heath. So let me start. I always just start by, just kind of outlining my images. Just kind of going from there. Where I think the shades might be. And like I said before, I'm not really that good, I don't think, but on how to do this. But I just try to kind of do my best here and do what I think is the right way, but it's probably not. And I do have to, kind of turn my, oh no, I have to kind of turn my battery's blinking, so I don't know if we'll even get through with this here or not, but go ahead and start on it anyway. So I just kind of do my outlines. I kind of emphasize the some of the places that they have the lines already on, like right in here. Just kind of pull those down, emphasize those a little bit, and just kind of come around. And mostly, like I said, I just kind of outline everything first. And then after I do that, I'm going to use the V000 and just kind of go up into that color just a little bit, and just to kind of blend it. Just like that. And I'm probably going to have to stop here in just a minute and recharge my battery. So if my camera goes out, that's the reason why. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I'm going to stop right here because my battery is blinking. And we will start right back as soon as I get my battery charged. Okay, I'll be right back, guys. Okay, sorry about that. I got my battery charged now, so hopefully we'll be able to continue with everything. Like I said, these are the two colors that I'm using. Still using the V000 and the V01. So that's the two colors. And what I'm going to do is just go back over with the darker color, the V01. And so I'm just going to kind of go back over this. And I don't have a lot of Copic markers. So if you kind of use them and go over, you know, your area that you're coloring more than one time, it'll make it darker so that it'll look like, you know, you may have a darker color. So I'm still trying to, you know, kind of build mine up. So then I'm going to take this lightest one, the V000, and I'm just going to go around that again, just to kind of blend that in some. And then I'm just going to kind of go over this and just kind of flick out a little bit, just to blend it a little bit more, and just kind of go over the whole area to just to kind of blend that in some. Alrighty, and that is kind of the way that will look. If you run out of the lines, and I do that quite often, you can just take your this is your blender, which is like 0, and it's called colorless blender. Hope you guys can see that. But you're gonna just take it and just kind of push the color, you know, up into your area that you're trying to fix or whatever. And you may have to, you know, do it more than one time to get the color removed from that area. And that's one thing that I really do a lot, is run out of the lines. I try to be careful, but I still manage to do that. So, but anyway, so you can use that to fix that. And so that's those colors, and I'm going to do the skin now. And the colors I use for that is E00, E13, and E000. So these are the colors that I use the skin, which, like I said, is E000, this is E13 right here, and E00. So I always start with the lightest color for their skin. So this is E000, and so I just kind of put a coat, you know, all over her skin here, her face. And then I'm going to go ahead and put one on her neck here. And then her arms. And then this arm. And I kind of colored her little white sleeve there. I was going to leave white, so we can just take that colorless blender and, you know, kind of fix that. So I put that there, and then I'm going to take the next color, the medium color, which is E00. I'm going to do that one next. I'm just going to kind of outline around her face here, and from where the light, you know, should be coming with her face kind of tilted this way, the light would be brighter on this side, and so I'm going to make it a little bit darker over here on this side. And so you want to just kind of go up in her hairline at those little places there, and just kind of go around like that. And maybe down just a little bit on that side. And then this is the E13. You're just going to kind of go just around the very edge of that. And, because this is the darkest color here. And I really don't think there's no certain way you have to do this as far as the light colors and the dark colors. You can do them, you know, ever how, you know, it's easier for you. And so, and I'm just going to take this one, and we're going, this is the E00, and we're just going to blend that darkest one again. And just kind of going to the edge of it, not really going way down in there, because this will take your color away if you go way into that dark color. Just go around into the edge of it. And then you're going to take your lightest color, which is your E000, and then I just kind of flick that down into there like that. I just kind of blend that in there. And so that's kind of how, you know, how I do it. This is the E00. I'm going to go ahead and do her neck area right here, and just go like, to me this side would be a little bit darker because of the way her head is tilted, so I'm going to kind of do that. And then this is the darkest color right here, so I'm going to say it's darker on this side right here. And then this is the E00, the medium color again, and just kind of blend that in. And then I'm going to take the lightest color and just blend that. So that's that one. Then I'm going to do her arm here. So I'm going to take the medium color and just go down her arm where I think the shade will be. And I would think it would be here and up under her sleeve there. So I'm just going to kind of go over that. Maybe across the bottom a little bit where her hand is. And just back up around there. And then I'm going to take the darkest color, and I'm just going to kind of go back over that, real light strokes, and just kind of then I'm going to take the medium color again and just go right up in the edge of that and just kind of pull that down. And then I'm going to take this lightest color and just go right in the edge of that. And then we're going to go over here and do this arm. Make sure I'm still in frame. I'm just going to go down. I would think that the darkness would be in here. The shaded area, bottom of her hand. And that little crease in her arm. And then we're going to go right here, do this area, and a little crease there, the bottom of her arm, the bottom of her hand here. I'll get the medium color again, just kind of blend those in. And blend all of this in right here, like that. And then she has one little small place down here right below her pants, so we're going to do those. And this is the darkest color right here. And then I'm just going to use the medium color to blend that in like that. And that's kind of how her skin is looking so far. I hope you guys can see that. And her little clothes so far. So I'm going to stop the video because my camera only records for like 16 minutes. And then we'll come right back and do some more. Alright, I'll talk to you guys in just a minute. Okay, I'm back and we'll go ahead and we're going to do her shoes right now. And so for those colors, I've got C1, which is like a gray color. It's called Cool Gray. And then the other one I have is C00. And that's the two colors that we're going to be using to do her tennis shoes. So we're going ahead and start with the C00, which is the lightest color. And I'm just going to go over her whole shoes just to give them some color. And we'll go over this one. Okay, and then the darkest color, we'll use it next, which is C1. And I'm just going to go around the edge where I think the shades would be. And I really don't know for sure about these shades. This is just what I come up with. Okay, and then I'm going to go back over with the lightest color, the C00, and just kind of blend that in that I just did. Kind of going around the edge of her the pants here where it might be dark, where they're hanging over the top there. And this is still the lightest color, the C00. And I'm just going to kind of go around the very bottom of her little white shirt here. just to give it a little bit of shading, like right up under where her sleeves and things like that will be. Okay. So then we will go ahead and start on her hair. And the colors I use for that are Y21, Y23, and let's see, E15 and E25 are the four colors that I like to use for like the blondish brown hair. So the Y21 is the lightest, the Y23 is next, E15 is next, and then the E25 is the darkest. So we're going to kind of go all over her hair with the Y21, which is the lightest color. So I'm just going to kind of go over it where I think that the most shades would be.
Back. Y'all get back.
Hold on just a minute. Okay, sorry about that. My husband had a question about his work, so I was trying to help him. But anyway, we just got through coloring with the YR21. So now the next color that I'm going to use is the YR23, which is the next next darkest color. And so I'm just going to kind of go over what I did and just kind of make some, you know, real light colors, light flicking marks on here, just to add a little bit more color to it. And I'm trying to flick up a little bit longer than I did with the first color. And you kind of always try to go with the way the hair is. Okay, and then the next color is the E15, which is kind of a red color. It has like a red color to it. So I'm just going to lightly go over it again with the flicking. Just kind of trying to blend all these in here together. If you didn't want this red color in here, you could leave this one out and just go with the browns. But I kind of like that, so. Okay, and then we're going to go with the darkest color, which is the E25. And so you're just going to kind of just pull those in the same way, just really light strokes with the flicking. To me, this just does better. And this kind of leaves like a streaked color to your hair. Make sure I'm in frame here. And then I go back over it with the lightest color and just kind of pull all that together, still with the flicking. And if you have any other white color that shows, that's okay too, you know, unless you just don't like the white color showing. And to me, it just seems like if you do everything, you know, really light-handed, you know, don't do really dark and heavy flicking, you know, you do a little bit better. And so I'm just going to pull a little bit more of this one in here. This is the one with the red color. This is E15. So I'm just pulling a little bit more. And also, if something is coming from behind something, in other words, her hair is coming out from behind this hair tie, to me it's darker there. So that's another little rule of thumb that I kind of go by. I don't know if that's really right or not, but that's kind of the way I do it. And I think practice, you know, just it's probably one of the main things that's going to help you guys learn the color. And anyway, just this is the darkest color here. I'm just kind of adding some more color to this. Just trying to add a little bit more. And then I'm going to take the next darkest color from this is the Y23. You know, this was the lightest color, the Y21. So this is the Y23, which is a little bit darker. And I'm just going to kind of finish that up with some of these more golden highlights. So, that's kind of the colors that I like right there. So I'm going to stop with that, and then we'll go ahead and color her flower there. And I got to do her cheeks too. The cheeks, I'll go ahead and do them next. I use RV10 and RV02 for those. This is the RV10. It's a little bit lighter than the RV2 is. So the way I do that is I just go ahead and take the RV10, the lightest color, and I just draw, I just go from like the little black dots, just kind of hook them together into a circle. And then I'm going to go over here on this side and just kind of hook those black dots together. And then just go in middle. And then I'm going to take this RV2, which is a little bit darker than that one, and just kind of go in the middle of that. And in the middle of this one. And then maybe go back around this one more time, just right here in the middle a little bit. And then you take your skin color, the E000, the lightest color that I did the skin with, and I just go in and just kind of flick this out, just to kind of blend it a little bit more. Just little tiny flicks. Just like that. And then I have a gel pen that I use sometimes. This is just a jelly roll pen. You can use that to do like the white dots. And I found this one at Michael's the other day. And it just says Renaissance. And it's a white pen too. So we'll use that one. And I just right and make sure that it's, you know, riding a little bit. And then I just do 2 dots up here, and 1, 2, and 1 down there. So that's the way that looks. And then we'll go ahead and do her flower. And the colors I use for that are RV13, it's a pink color, RV10, which is the one that we just used on her cheeks, and RV000. This is the lightest one, the RV00, and that is RV000. And then this one is RV10, which is a little bit darker than this one. And then the RV13 is the darkest color. So I'll go ahead and do her little flower here. I'm going to start off with the RV000, which is the lightest color. And I'm just going to kind of go over each little bloom here. And I think that's all, just those 3 there. I'm going to take the medium color, which is the RV10, and I'm just going to kind of go across the bottom there where I think it would be the darkest and where it's coming out up against this color. And then I'm going to take the RV13, which is the darkest color, and I'm going to just dot around the bottoms there. Sometimes if you don't want to actually color, just do some dots, and that'll be good enough if you want that effect. And this is the medium color. Just going to kind of blend that in a little bit. Blend that in all the way around here. And then I'm going to take my lightest color and just blend that back in. Okay, and then I'm going to do the green on the little vine there. And for those colors, I am going to be using G46, which is the darkest green, G43, which is going to be my medium green, and G40, which is the lightest green that I have. So that's the 3 colors. I'll go ahead and start with the lightest color first. And so we're just going to color her whole little stem here she has in her hand, and the leaves. Then I'm going to take the medium green, and I'm just going to go over where, like I said before, where I think the darkest colors may be. And then the darkest color, I'm going to take it and just put it where you think the most shade would be. Just kind of like that. Then I'll take this medium color and go back over that, just kind of blend that in some. And then I'll take this green, the lightest green, and just kind of blend all that back in some. And then I'll take like my colorless blender, and I'll just kind of go around if I see a place that I come, you know, colored outside the line, and just kind of try to fix that. And like I said, you may have to do it more than one time with this colorless blender to get it, you know, back white. So I missed a little place on her little headband right there, so I'll have to go back and fix that. So I'm just going to use the darkest color to kind of color it at the bottom where I think the shade would be, and then I'm going to use the medium color, and these are both like RV13 and RV10, to just blend that in a little bit. So I think that's everything. Like I said in some of my other videos, you can outline her to make her pop off the card, and the colors that I use to do that with are W3 and W1. You would do like the W3 closest to her body all the way around, and then you would go back with the W1 and just kind of go in the W3 around the edge, and then you would take your colorless blender and go around it to blend it. And that's the way, you know, I kind of did this image here, so you may can see how I outlined some of that. But that's kind of how she turned out. You can always go back if it's something that you don't feel like, you know, maybe you want a darker outline, you know, you can go back and add that. Sometimes I'll go back and add, like this is the darkest B01 again. If you want to just kind of highlight these places again, just to, you know, just to kind of emphasize them a little bit more, you can do that. So it's just totally, you know, up to you how you want your image to look or whatever. So, but anyway, I hope that helps, you know, some of you guys that were having some questions on that. And like I said before, I am not, you know, I haven't been Copic certified or anything like that. So this is just the way I do it. And I don't have that many Copic markers either. And so I just use the ones that I have to get, you know, the best look that I think looks, you know, pretty good. So I hope this will help you guys. If you have any questions, just let me know. Leave them a comment below, and I will get back to you. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.